this day, you guys. I need a lot of coffee. Oh, coffee. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is ZaraTrixie, and today we have a exciting video for you. By now, you know what we are doing with this channel. A walkthrough of the decades of Melodifestivalen, but through the eyes of dance. Today, we are going to be talking about the 80s. Boy, there's so much to talk about. But before I jump into it, if you're new to this channel, hi! I'm so happy you found me. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. It will mean the world to me as a small creator on this platform. And for all of my Swedish viewers out there, every Friday morning I am talking in a local Swedish radio station about the exact same topic, but that is in Swedish. I'm not certain about the time, but I will write it down here on the screen and you can go look it up. You can go watch that, support that. It will mean the world to me. The radio show will come out before the video, so this is like the extended version. And also the international version, because it's in English or Swinglish or everything I know about communication, pretty much, in order for me to get through to you viewers out there. I need to get going with the 80s, because oh boy, finally dancing is stepping on to the stage. I love the 80s in Melodifestivalen. This is also the first decade that we participated the whole way through. There were no breaks, no demonstrations or economical crisis, or actually there was, but we will get to that. Overall, I would say the artists are starting to give us more advanced choreography, which is exciting because it's really stepping into the modern era. 1980, it's just 1 year after the 70s. Of course, nothing changes overnight. So 1980 is still very much within the 70s vibe, but you start to feel like we're entering something new here. In general, the artists are standing very still, not much movement happening except from one artist, Thomas Ledin, who performed the song Just Nu. He was dancing with the microphone stand, which is something we saw happening many years later in an iconic number within the contest. But he is pretty much the only artist that is giving us some sort of movement within their performance. I just want to mention, in 1982, that was the first year the contest was held in a sports arena. Is that anything big? Maybe not, but it's still an interesting development that tells you where the contest is going. That year, there were no major choreography stuff happening. The entry that won was actually the only one, again, with some sort of choreographed segments. That brings us to the magical year of 1983. I don't even know where to begin. If you know anything about Melodifestivalen, this is a iconic year because of Carola and the song Främling. Still to this day, one of the most known songs ever in Swedish music industry. But oh boy, this is the first year, in my opinion, that we have dancers really participating. I don't even know where to start. This is how nerdy I am. When I think about this year, I can't help myself. First of all, the whole show starts with this long intro that feels very like Hollywoody. There is a segment where there are dancers on the stage doing a opening number. Now that might not seem like a big thing, but remember, this is the first time we have dancers doing a opening number. There are 4 dancers. They are all from dance studio called Rydberg's Dance Academy. I need to just open my mail. I got some answers on their names. The same studio did a interval act this year. I found this dance school and I found an email address. I emailed them. I wanted to know the names of all of these dancers. They answered me, and the woman answering me was one of the dancers of the 1983 dance squad. I smiled so much when I got the answers, and it's so simple. It's just an email. But for the interval act, the dancers were Lennart and Kerstin Rydberg, and they are the founders of Rydberg's Dance Academy. They were dancing together with the daughter, Helene, and she is the one who actually answered me, and her bigger brother, Peter. These 4 dancers did this interval act to the song Making Your Mind Up, and the choreographer was was Gordon Mars. I think he was from like the UK. Then I asked about these 4 dancers that did the opening number. The 2 guys, they were students at that school. Their names were Peter Eriksson and Christer Jönsson. And the girls were actually teachers at their school. And their names were Louise Dahlgren and Jeanette Ulbl. This kind of information is exactly why I do what I do, to be honest. I know I'm getting like, people will think I'm over sentimental or something, but this is why I take so much pride in this work that I do. Because now we have the names of these people, places people within their part of some sort of history. Let's talk a little bit about the numbers themselves. Let's start with the opening number. I love it so much. It's so cute. This stage is way too small, even for a Melodifestivalen in 1983. I am impressed with how well they are not showing that they are limited in space. You can see when they are passing through each other, they are like crammed together. They did a great job. And then we have the interval act. I mean, they were an entire little family doing this number together. Can it get any cuter? Do I think it's one of the most iconic ever? Yes, because they really brings us a show, especially the dad. His facial expression are out of this world. We shall never forget this number. So super excited to know the names of all of these dancers. There is one more dancer this year. The entry I want to talk about was performed by the group called Ritz and their song Marionette. There was this dancer called Gunta Lide that performed in this entry. I want to claim that this is the first dancer within a entry. We could argue that it would be 1963 Twist till Menuet. The difference here, in Marionette, Gunta Lide, she is having her moment throughout the entire entry, constantly performing. She is a high quality dancer. The choice of movements both showcases her strength as a technical dancer, but also as a high quality performer. I can't skip talking about this entry because that really had a big effect on me when I found out. I wasn't born when this happened. We need to move on to the year 1984. Here you can really start to see that the artists are claiming their dancing space. When we're talking about 1984, I have to mention the entries Sankta Cecilia, performed by Göran Fristad and Lotta Engberg. Oh my god, it's so cute. And I was actually surprised about the amount of choreography they actually had. Go and watch that. There's no way you can do a walkthrough of Melodifestivalen history. No matter what theme you're talking about, you have to make a stop at Therese. Diggiloo Diggiley. I am still amazed the level of artistry this is. It's something completely new. Everything during their number is choreographed. They have such high quality. It's amazing. They are showcasing so many ideas, thoughts, and approaches to staging. All of those strategies are still being used till this day. There are so many concepts they are using that is still very much modern today. I said it with ABBA. There is a before and there is one after ABBA. It's the same with this. There is a before and there is a after Therese. After this year, the performance, it just turned up like 100%. Seriously, like if you hear it, everybody will start doing this hand movements. They have gone to proper dance training. I think that's pretty much what I want to say about Therese. You can't deny the effect that they have had on the competition and the development of dance in the competition. So that brings me to the next year, which is 1985. 1985 is a very special year. Once again, they totally switch things up. The staging this year is a studio that they have like dressed to be sort of looking like a nightclub. Very different. It's fun that they did it. I know they spent a lot of money on these sort of special laser lights, but something I want to talk about. We are going to talk about 2 dancers here. Mary and David Johnson, siblings from the United States that moved to Sweden. He met a girl that's from Sweden and they moved to Sweden, and then his sister followed along. They brought the electric boogaloo train to Sweden. These 2 dancers, amazing dancers. They performed not in one, but in two different entries this year. And David, he did a solo show in the interval act. That gives me the conclusion that they would be the first house dancers. From 2009 and forward, we have something that in Swedish we call husdansare. Translate, it would be sort of like house dancers, in-house dancers. And it's a huge thing. In that sense, these are the first ever in-house dancers of Melodifestivalen. But no other dancers up until this point performed that much. And they owned the show. The first number they participated in was what came to be the winning entry of the year, Bra Vibrationer by Kiki Danielsson. That choreography, amazing. It's electric boogaloo. It's very high energetic. Every dancer out there, you need to go and watch this and analyze it. Look at the quality of their movement, of their dynamic and their connection. There's such a disconnection between them and the artist. They are so great at what they do, so I don't care. And then they also performed in definitely one of my absolute favorite numbers and routines, Tom in Hand, performed by the artist Dan Tillberg. Here they are showing more. Here you can really see how skilled they are as dancers, like how well trained they are. Mary, she's doing so many spins. I'm like amazed. They are doing like high kicks, jumps, the leg kicks, they are so high and it's such a perfect leg. You have to watch this as well. Oh, I could talk about them so much. And actually, they came back a few years later. In 1988, they actually did a opening number. That was also a great opening number, since we are on 1985. This is what I mean with there being a before Headaches and one after Headaches. There are so many artists doing amazing choreography. We had a group called Bel Air. Personally, I love it. Not everybody could do what they are actually doing. It's a lot of movement. And also, this year, one of the dancers from Rydberg Dance Academy that participated in 1983, he made a comeback. I'm not sure which one of the guys name-wise. He's not dancing, but he is doing a cameo. The song is called Jag vet hur det känns. Flirtatious little song. Very interesting. And also, this year, we have epic entry, Piccadilly Circus. Many people think this is the winner of this year because this song is huge. The artist is Pernilla Wahlgren and she had two male dancers with her on stage. They were two brothers, Vito and Emilio. This choreography is a little bit vulgar, I must say. You can see a resemblance within this number and to Carola a few years later. They are so different, but they are still very similar. It's a two male dancers dancing very odd. Okay, let's move on. In 1986, there were not many dancers. We were sort of broke again. There were pretty much, I think, only one number that had dancers. Anna Book, that performed her song ABC. She has 3 female dancers with her on stage. It's nothing major. It's fine. I want to know their names as well, if you know who they are. Let's just skip 87 and move on to 1988. It's the same thing. This year, nothing exciting happened. We had made so much progress and then it was like we took a few steps back. There were no dancers anywhere to be found. We had one entry, another iconic one, Uffe Persson, and he performed the song Nästa Weekend. He is giving amazing performance. He's doing his own thing, more or less improvised. He has some patterns, little special head movements. It's just adorable. I love it. Everybody loves it. I have to mention it. And then we come to the last year of the decade. Hang in there. We're almost at the end. This year they went big. The arena that's now called Avicii Arena in Stockholm was newly finished. The competition came to Avicii Arena. This is the first time it's really big. The performances themselves were kind of mellow, except for really one entry, Lilian Susi. Okay. They had one dancer. It was very much this sort of flamenco style. They're not singing about anything like that. But this year, there is once again a interval act 100% performed by dancers. This dance group or called Bisas. I will talk about them more in the next video, so I'm not gonna talk too much about them now. Now you know, they did something in the 90s. Their interval act, they really did something that combined dancing with a story. They wanted to try and do something else, and they are so great jazz dancers. The music was specially written for this interval act, even though they have previously rewritten songs. This music was composed solely for this purpose. That's amazing. And with that, I'm gonna wrap this up. Whew! 1980s, so much happening. I love the 80s. When I watch it from the beginning through the entire 1960s and the 70s and getting to the 80s, I scream out of joy. Finally! That will guide us into the 90s. If you watched up until this point, I think it's time for you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the videos that I'm going to post. I would highly appreciate it. What is your favorite entry of the 1980s? Let's have a conversation in the comment section. And it's super dark here now. The light is super yellow because I don't have any fancy stuff. I'm just gonna wrap it up and say, take care of yourself and those you love. Bye!